welcome to the Diplomacy Timing Window, where the rules are discussed and our opinions don't matter. My name is Kazadoom.
I'm Hungry Hippos.
And I'm the Half-Heard.
Since our last episode, 2 new patches were released. The first, 1.19, added an action card count, and the player colors are now coordinated with the faction they're playing, which is really neat, especially for those of us who tend to count the stupid action card deck.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's super cool. You now see when the deck's running out and gonna be reshuffled.
Yeah,
So
that one is great. I love that one.
you're not
So
surprised anymore by a unexpected action that comes up that supposedly was played already. So
And Hippos, I think you know someone who would be really happy with that color coordination. Am I right?
Oh, yes. I mean, there's still, though, they need to add different colors. We're getting off here, but like the black, the blue, change it to like white
Hopefully,
and
or give it some border pop or something. Hopefully that'll be in the works. Help out our colorblind community over there.
for the contrast, it's just the contrast thing. But more importantly for us today, patch 1.20 added another pre-made map category. So before we had the balanced map category, which was basically the learn to play map, the resourceful with home planets surrounded by planet systems, no empty spaces there, and the abandoned Mechatol with Mechatol having no planet systems next to it.
Have you guys played all three of these?
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I think I've played them all in every player count too by this point.
I think my favorite is the abandoned Mechatol one.
Yes, I do tend to lean towards that one. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's tough to get the agenda where you have to be two systems of ships next to Mechatol Rex, because there's obviously the supernova anomaly beside one of them. And you need a certain tech in order to get the other non-empty ones like the asteroid field. And it means those who are going to go for Mechatol have got to commit.
Because then you're
that extra space
there.
Yeah,
so it's pretty interesting for sure.
Always feels shitty sitting in that empty space in front of Mechatol for a turn and do nothing with your fleet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Such a pain.
Flank speed becomes all the more powerful.
Yeah, and gravity drive.
Yeah. Let's talk about the new map, Center of Mass.
All right, let's pull it up.
So I guess just a quick description is that the third ring, the outermost ring, is completely empty of planets. All the planets are concentrated in the first and second rings, hence the name, I suppose.
Yeah, Mechatol is heavy.
I think it's super fun. There's so many things to think about. There's a few drawbacks, but I'm going to go with a couple of the fun ones. One of my first fun one is I love that supernova location. It protects your home system from one side, and so you can focus on the other, and it offsets the low resource influence count for a couple of the planets that is in that system, but because you can then start to explore without having to worry about being flanked from both sides.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about this map, I have to say.
Yeah, it's just a welcome change, because I've played the other maps so frequently now that, and the map building, I'm just not a fan of it. Every time it ends up either the same or completely weirdly imbalanced maps.
I used to be a big fan of map building. I have to say, when I first started, I always preferred map building, but I agree, having done, a dozen or more games now, map building, it's kind of lost, I think, its excitement for me. So I'm actually leaning towards more pre-made maps these days.
Do you know what turns you off of map building even more than anything else? Is being shafted in the draw and by everyone else on the table.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. How many times has that happened to me?
It's frustrating because I guess you can be taken out of the game right from the beginning, and then it's like, well, now I have to play this game, and I'm not even that excited about it.
It will take 2 months to finish.
Yeah, and it's just unfortunate all around, right? To have people in a game not excited, right? Even if it's not me getting shafted, it's, you know, I don't want to see people feeling lackluster about a game, right? I want people involved. I want them like, you know, excited to play.
Negotiating.
Yeah, exactly.
So the other part of this center of mass map I really love is the big systems are right next to Mechatol Rex.
Yes.
So you're gonna have to fight for them, and I think that's ideal.
This is my favorite thing about this new map, is that all the big systems are all around Mechatol, and I can just see this being a battle royale pretty much the entire time. And I mean, when I play TI, that's my favorite part. I love the big epic battles, and I think this map is really gonna force you to be engaging in those.
One of the drawbacks I find is that this map pushes the blue tech path in a number of different ways. So, you know, if you're next to an asteroid field in your home system, you're going to want anti-mass deflectors. But also you're going to want gravity drives so you can get to the center sooner or that much more easily so you can reinforce. So I see no matter who you are, having a blue tech path on this map is probably the better way to go, at least to help you get and stay where you need to be.
I would say to start, blue tech definitely seems like the strong move, but I can see it falling off a lot in the late game, because once you're there in the middle, right, so you get your dock up on the second or even on the first ring, then you don't really have far to go, right?
It's true. I agree. Yeah, once you get the dock up, and so that actually makes construction strategy that much more useful.
I would say this map, actually, I would agree that you might see a nice buff to construction with this map, because you're going to want to get those PDSs up stat to protect your valuable systems.
Even more reason to get anti-mass.
And more reason to get it. But it's good, right? Because I mean, anti-mass I wouldn't say is super powerful, right? So it's nice to see some of those lesser techs getting a little more love. And I don't disagree though, right? I think gravity drive early is going to be big on this map. I just see it like beyond round 1 and 2 not having an impact the way it would in other games.
Gobble up a lot of stuff the first round, you can get way more resources and influence than anyone else who doesn't have. For round 2, you'll have a
bit of an advantage for sure.
I mean, that's kind of the downside, because if you have only one unit with capacity, you can only take a system, and it doesn't matter how many planets you have next to you. So in this thing, like for Nalu, you just take the system in front of you.
So actually a bit of a buff then, I would say, to those factions like Nalu, Embers, Winu, the guys that normally struggle taking 2 systems anyways, right? Yeah, they don't have to worry about it here.
It also makes warfare picking stronger than the secondary in this case, because you can go forward and
you take
the center stage.
Yeah. So here's a good question. Is warfare going to be more attractive first pick than tech or leadership?
On this map, I think guaranteed, yes.
As Arborec, yes, please.
But like you said, I think as anyone, right? Because really, it's you want to get to that innermost ring, right? Your system that's right adjacent to mech is the most valuable, and you're going to want to get to that as soon as possible. So I could see warfare being a big pick, first pick in this map.
Yeah. And then what we didn't point out is the wormhole planet systems and the tech skips are all on the equidistant systems. So they're kind of a struggle point for objectives and for additional planets. And there's four planets that have a lot of resources. And then there's the Mare and Arinam and the Graal Centauri that are, I guess, the weakest systems, but those center systems have the stronger adjacent to the home system, if that makes sense.
Yes, it makes sense.
So that's kind of the balancing.
A little bit of the balance there,
they have the worst system in the middle, but the better system as their first planet. So yeah, it will be interesting how this plays out. I'm really looking forward to trying it out. I have not started one yet, so yeah.
I've started a 4-player, which I'm pretty excited about. First round was, it lived up to the hype, I think. So I'm really excited to see how that game's going to pan out. I don't have a 6-player with this map yet, but I think that'll be the next thing kind of on my list.
Fun. Well, as we've discussed, go for it,
Kaza. Get below a decent play number. We're playing way too many games at the moment, which is a very common problem, I think.
Yeah, I've been stuck at around 17, 18 for a while now. As soon as I finish a game, somehow I seem to be in a new one. I keep telling myself to bring it down.
There's always an update. You got to start a new one to test out the update.
I know. And I have a problem where I can't say no to invites.
But I've also started a few games with Australians, so those take a while, and they're not that demanding in terms of time per day. So that's the upside, I guess.
So we were talking about some ideas in which this map is not the most ideal. So out of that comes what would make a good map ideal. What custom map that could, well, I guess it would be custom in that you'd make it, but how can we make a custom map default that lives up to more hype or is better than this?
I think you're cooking something up over there, are you?
Mm-hmm.
So let's do a map contest.
Let's do a map contest. Yeah.
All right, map contest. Surprise, map contest. I love it. Okay, so tell me about it.
I think the idea is we now have very symmetric maps in terms of layout. So what I would love to see is some kind of asymmetric build of a map that's still somehow balanced through different map features. For instance, different home system placements, being closer, further away, having like imbalanced influence and resources, more or less planets, different tech skips instead of a lot of resources, stuff like that.
So yeah, bottom line, I think, is creativity. You want to see some different out of the box thinking, right? That I mean, all kind of inputs are welcome, but I think preference is going to be given to those kind of unique designs.
So I'm going to share one map that we just randomly came up with for a 5-player. As you can see, we have an alternate home system placement. Mechatol is weirdly placed closer to here than it is over here. So I feel like there's a lot of fun to be had with just the idea of even just moving the home systems. You know, what would it be like if we had home systems all almost next to each other, or just one system away from each other here, or have all home systems in the inner ring and almost be like, instead of center of mass, it would be middle of mass, center empty.
Who leaves their home system?
Spiral galaxy.
And as I was thinking about different types of maps that could be built, what about building a map that was based on kind of story or the universe that that Twilight Imperium is in? So why is it that Mechatol Rex, when you start the game, hasn't been occupied? Maybe have a map where it is surrounded entirely by anomalies, so that it made sense that the factions wouldn't have got there yet.
Nobody found it yet, yeah.
Or there's a whole bunch of different ways to look at it. The asymmetric builds that Kaza was just mentioning. I think there's a lot of fun here, and I really look forward to seeing what the community can build.
Yeah, especially 5-player, because they're inherently imbalanced, I think. So it would be fun to see what players can come up with in terms of resetting the default with the additional trade goods, like find a placement that makes sense for balance but is still cool and fresh.
Yeah, that's great. I guess what are the ground rules here? Let's talk about the setting of some of the ground rules for this contest.
I mean, the most important part is that so far you can obviously only use tiles that are in the game. So base game
Yep,
tiles,
base game.
and the rift needs to be replaced with an empty space.
Makes sense.
Yes. And I guess player count type maps. Does anyone have a? I don't think there's really any preference there.
I guess
No,
it
I mean-
depends, right? Like, are we gonna say that you can submit just a one player count? I mean, generally, right now the 4 map themes are there's a variant for each of the 3 to 6 player counts. So
Right.
it'd be nice if I think, right? I don't maybe we won't be super strict, but it would be nice, I think, if you come up with a theme to be able to provide a layout for all the player counts, 3 player, 4, 5, and 6. Right?
Ooh,
Just to
that's going to require a lot of thought.
it would require a lot of thought, and that's why I said we won't be too strict. I think it'll be nice to see that if you can carry a theme across all the player counts. But I mean, we'll, if you have a good design that fits for 1 player count, I think that's fine as well.
Mm-hmm. So what are the? So those are the good rules or guidelines, shall we call them?
Guidelines, yeah, that's
Yeah.
softer.
So what are the incentives then? Obviously, we have
eternal fame and glory.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you get to name it, obviously, and that'll be the name. That
Your
gets
name
used.
will be announced on the winning episode of Twilight.
Exactly, yeah.
Of the diplomacy timing window.
You don't even know the name.
Don't even know the name. It's thinking of the game, man.
Doesn't matter.
Thinking
Our
of the
opinions
game.
don't matter.
And in the end, I mean, we'll try to bully the devs, obviously, to get the maps into the map pool, so we can actually then play on new, fresh maps and maybe get something going there. Like maybe we can bully them more to get regular map updates.
Oh,
and
yes.
community maps would be amazing, just to add a lot more variety to the game.
I mean, we've already discussed how refreshing it is to get a new map like Center of Mass. So the idea of using some of these maps in the map contests that get approved, that have them be regularly updated, I think is a fantastic idea.
Mm-hmm. So there you go. There you have it. You'll get if you win the contest, you'll get your map into the game. So that's some exciting incentive, and you'll get maybe some other things, a shout out. Who knows what else?
Yeah. We'll create a Discord channel. We'll create another channel within our Discord for the map contest, and we'll pin the rules and the due dates so that we can all deliberate and do an episode on it.
Share ideas, bounce off ideas from each other.
Exactly.
Yes.
Nice
and then DM the map with picture, maybe a small description, and the map string to one of us. Yeah. So we can then curate and put them up for vote.
Yeah, we'll provide a few TI map generator apps that are out there for people to be able to use.
Great.
I'm looking forward to this.
I'm looking forward to seeing what.
I'm looking forward to having my opinion matter. Just once.
Yay! No, it's great just to see what people can come up with, and I'm just looking forward to trying new maps, I guess.
Yeah. I think
Hippos, you can't just make your own map win. I'm sorry, bud. It's we're gonna have to disqualify you on that one.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But yes, I am very excited to see what everyone can come up with, some creative new ideas, and I want to see some new ones implemented in the app and playing them. So
yes, balance is not necessary. Asymmetry is fun.
Yes, exactly.
But some level of balance is encouraged.
Yeah, you shouldn't have positions where you basically can't play from. Like, let's put it like this. I would love maps where each position is different, but each position offers you something to play with.
Exactly.
That's, I think, what I'm looking for most.
But let's see what people come up with.
Yep.
I'm sure we'll see some great stuff. And I'm sure we'll see some maybe not so great stuff. So it'll all balance out in the end.
Let's not disencourage our audience.
I'm joking. You're all wonderful people. Like and subscribe. Jokes.
This was our first call to action, guys. We should celebrate that. Well, I think we've spent enough time stalling in this timing window. So let's hit the pass button and keep the game moving.